Hi, and welcome to a playthrough for Bigger Battles for Fistful of Lead by me, Jay Wiley, the author, and my son Marshall is helping me out today. We're going to go through a couple of turns of Bigger Battles just to give you a feel for how it plays out. We've gone ahead and skipped to the second turn so that the forces are a little bit closer. Our game today is taking place in a Victorian sci-fi arena. We've got some big walking tanks you can see, some different type of troops. I will be playing the Germans. Marshall will be playing the a Franco force. They've got their own big stompy machine. And we've got three objectives on the table for today: the hill, the river, and the house over here that overlooks the river. So at the end of the game, whoever holds the majority of the objectives wins. We've made some quick little cards for each unit. And we've got 3 units, a big mech, a smaller armored suit for each side, a commander, and a hero for each side. So it's fairly equal as far as who has what, but we've also randomly rolled up some of the leader qualities, which some are detrimental, some are good. So we're going to start a game as we always do, or start a turn as we always do. We've shuffled the deck. We've dealt a card for each one of the units, commanders, or leaders that we control. In this case, there's 7 on each side. So we'll start at the top of the order by calling out kings. I have a king of clubs. Marsh, do you have anything that beats a king of clubs? So I'm going to pick a unit, and I'm going to choose an action for it. The actions that I can choose are move at the double, which is essentially moving twice. Maneuver, which means I can move and fire, or fire then move. Form up. By form up, they're going shoulder to shoulder, or they're collapsing into a tighter formation so that they can then use the concentrate fire turn action, which will give them a bonus in shooting. They can charge, which is moving at the double into combat. They can rally. That's if they have some shaken markers on them, which we'll get into later. They can ready, which is essentially a hold action or overwatch, so they can spend their turn readying, waiting to see what the enemy does, in which case they can interrupt the enemy. Now, they can mount or dismount, set up a crude weapon, or complete a task like setting charges on the bridge to blow up, etc. So what I'm going to do is activate the unicycle lancers here, because they're going to try to charge up and take that bridge. They're going to use the at the double action, which means they'll move twice their normal move, but they can't enter close combat. So I am going to move, they normally move 8 inches, so I'm going to move them 16. So I just pick the lead guy here, and the rest of them are just going to flow in behind. As long as that lead guy doesn't go farther than when he's allowable to move, then everyone just moves in a cloud. In this case, they're not formed up, so they're squeaking forward on their unicycles. I've chosen 10-man units because that's what I had. You could go smaller, you could go larger, depending on your collection and what you've already painted up. 10 seemed to be about right. That's what I already had, so that's what we're doing. All right, we did all the kings because I was the only one who had one. So we'll move on to queens. No queens? How about jacks? Now, if you remember correctly, not only do the cards give us a turn order, but certain cards will give bonuses when that unit is activated. We haven't gone to any of those yet. So then we'll go to 10s. I have a 10 of diamonds. Marsh got screwed on the things there. All right, I am going to move the Empress's own Lady Hussars. They're also going to do at the double move. They normally move 5. We're going to move them 10 because they can double. Again, they're not formed up so they can just sort of cruise around here. All right, that was into 10s, 9s. Oh, I'm sorry, you had a 10 of hearts. You should have gone before my 10 of diamonds. So pick a unit and decide what that unit is doing. Looks like you're activating the regular French infantry. Are they moving at the double? All right. I have a feeling some of the unicycle lancers will be feeling some heat next turn. All right, we did 10s. We're on 9s. 8. I have an 8 of clubs. Ooh. 8 of diamonds, 8 of hearts beats my 8 of clubs. So the Anglo-French units are going to go next. The French Marines hop the fence and head for the house. All right, the next 8. So, no, he's their hero, so he's a separate unit in and of himself. Okay, my 8. I am going to move the regular German infantry up the hill to capture this objective. All right, so the hill has been taken by German infantry. We did 8s. Next we move to 7s. I have a 7 of spades and a 7 of diamonds. Okay, so Marsh has played a joker, which acts like an ace, and you would normally activate a special event, but we're not playing with any of those today, just to keep it simple for the game. But this would be a perfect chance for you to bring in something like reinforcements, dirigible flies above and drop some bombs for you. But we're going to treat it just like an ace today. He is playing as a 7 of spades. I have the real 7 of spades, so I will go first, then him, then back to me with my second 7. The 7 allows a reroll during your turn. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to really use it. I am using my my assassin hero over here. She is going to head down there for my 7. Now your 7, Marshall. Well, you can move and shoot. It's just in a -1. So the spider creeps forward, levels its cannon at the unicycle lancers. So the cannon has, in this case, he's got rolls 4 D10s at 24 inches is close range, which he is now in. So he hits on 5s. He maneuvered, however, so that's a -1. So you'll roll 4 dice hitting on 6s. Well, we messed up here because the spider is a stable platform, which allows it to have a +1 on all its shoot rolls. Got one hit. So now we roll to see what happens. So he'll take the one dice that he had, and he got a 10, which in this case, a 10 means 2 casualties. So we first need to check and see if the leader got hit. So we take the number of casualties, and he needs to roll that or below. Did not get it, so there are just 2 grunts get hit from that unit. Boom! 2 unicycle lancers lost. So when shooting, the results can end up in shock for the unit, a removal of 1 miniature or removal of 2 miniatures. If you're shooting vehicle to vehicle, those translate to damage points rather than wounds, but it's effectively the same thing. So I am going to try to do the same thing. My land monitor here is going to creep forward 6 inches, and it's going to take a shot at his vehicle over there. Well, center to center, I am outside my close range, so I need, normally would need 8s, but because I moved, I will need 9s. I'm grabbing 4 dice because my cannon uses 4 dice when it shoots. And I didn't get a single hit. Kablam! Now, I've also got machine guns, Gatling guns mounted on this, but I am not in range, so I am not going to fire those against any troops just yet. So, however, I did have a 7 I activate, so I could reroll one of these dice. So I do, and it's still a miss. Okay, that means we go to 6s. No 6s, 5s. All right, I have a 5 of spades. So what I'm going to do is take my commander over here, the Baron, and he is going to move over here sort of centered on the troops. All right, Marsh, it's you. So that was a double move at the double for me. All right, Marshall's moved his hero figure forward. Is not attached to that unit. So a hero or a commander during their turn can attach or detach from a unit. If they attach, so basically during a turn, a commander, an unattached one, gives a +1 to any unit rallying within 12 inches. They can opt to remove 1 shock marker from a unit within 12 inches. Doesn't require a roll to do this, but it does use up the commander's action. They can attach to a unit if within a single move distance, so 5 inches usually. When attached, the commander adds +2 to all rally rolls, and the unit may also reroll misses in close combat. And this extra miniature counts towards the unit size when checking to see if it needs to regroup. When attached, the commander will move when the unit moves. They lose the ability to influence other troops, however, like getting the bonus in rally rolls. But most importantly, they give the unit any traits that the commander has. So if the commander is a veteran, then his unit that he's attached to gets treated as a veteran. So this can be very powerful if used at the right time. But while attached, the commander can become a casualty, or like I said, loses the effect of being able to influence everyone around him. And for purposes of shooting in close combat, the commander just gives 1 die, but they do have 3 wounds. The heroes are sort of similar, but being larger in life, they're a little bit tougher than everyone else. When fighting, they have as many dice as they do wounds. So in the case of Fistful Lid, most miniatures have 3 wounds when we're playing at the smaller scale. So they count as having 3 dice for most purposes of shooting and hand-to-hand. They can roll. They can join a unit just like a commander, but they don't give them any of the special abilities. Commanders and heroes on their own can't be targeted as long as they're within 6 inches of a friendly unit. So right now, even though my commander looks like he's out here running around by himself, he's actually can't be targeted because he's within 6 inches of the big vehicle over here. All right, I did my 5. Did you do your 5? Okay, so I'm done 4s. It's my last card. That would be my Krieghosen, and Marsh has his 4 gets to go before mine because he has a 4 of spades. I only have 4 hearts. All right, that was Marsh's commander moved up. I'm going to clunk my little Krieghosen up here. Clunk, 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 clunk. All right, I am done, but Marsh still has his last card. All right, we're going to gather up all the cards, even the ones we just played, and the rest of the deck. All right, does anyone have a king or a ace they would like to be a king? Nope. How about queens? Marsh has 2 queens, queen of diamonds and the queen of spades. Queen of spades is special. If you have a unit that has any shock on them, it gets automatically removed, all of it. Right. The impervious suit moves up once, and he's going to shoot. So that is a maneuver action that he's doing. Any fire will be at a -1. The impervious suit has a mini Gatling gun, 12 inches, which we are well within because we're just measuring from the middle of the impervious suit to the closest unit miniature, and he rolls 3d10s. Hitting on normally 5 6s because you maneuvered, sorry. 1 hit. No hits? Okay. Wow, that was close for them. All right, your other queen. All right, Sir Nigel moves up. Did he just do a double move? So he did it at the double. All right, that's it for queens. We're on jacks. No jacks. 10s. I have 2 10s. A spade and a heart. All right. Let's do some close combat. So my Uhlans are going to charge across the bridge and try to hit the impervious suit. So they have no shock on them, so they're going to scoop across the bridge. They didn't target Nigel. All right, so the way close combat works is you roll a die for each miniature in the unit. So I had 8 left after getting blown up by the spider's cannon. In the case of a mechanized suit like the impervious suit, it has a close combat of 2 dice. So he's going to roll 2 dice. I'm going to roll 8 dice. And because they are both regulars, and they will hit on a 5 or above. 5. All right. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 6. What did you get? You didn't get any. Okay. So we got 6 hits on the impervious suit. The impervious suit is called that because it actually gets an armor save. My 5 hits would have been a wound, 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 and then 2 shocks. Roll the 3 for the wounds that you were gonna get. So on 8 or above, so roll 3 dice looking for 8. Okay, so that got dropped down to a shock. So we have 1 shock on you and 2 wounds. So now you're going to roll your 2 shocks. Again, 2 dice looking for 8s. So we find out what the result is, and then you roll it.
Okay. I just could have.
Yeah, you could have rolled them all together and had the different colors mean different things too. Okay, so the shocks went away. But you still got 2 wounds, which is enough to take the impervious suit out of action. All right. I had another 10. So I am going to use the Lady Hussars at the double. And try to take that house. Okay. Do you have a 9, Marsh?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming they're shooting now. All right, they have all 10, so they're going to roll 10 dice. Hitting on.
Did my impervious suit die from 2 wounds?
Yeah, it only has 2. But you have 10 dice, and you're hitting on 6s because they moved. How many hits? 3. So roll those 3 dice. We got a 2, which is a shock. Is that a 9? And a 6. All right, so we got a double hit with the 9. So possibly 2 dudes there, and then the 6 was another guy, and then they are definitely getting a shock marker on them. So what the shock does is each shock point means that they move 1 inch less for each shock they have, and they have 1 less die they can use in combat, either shooting or close combat. And once there is more shock than there are remaining miniatures, then the unit will fall back. So if a unit has more shock markers than miniatures left in the unit, it must regroup. The regrouping unit must immediately fall back away from the enemy 2 moves. This move ignores any terrain other than impassable or shock penalties as the unit runs away. Remove all the excess shock so that the number of shock markers equals the number of miniatures in the unit. If the unit was in close order, it defaults to open order, and the unit may activate as normal on the next turn. However, with now limited movement and no dice to attack with because the shock is equal to the number of miniatures, the best action is to rally. when we do this in larger battles, we tend to just pull the miniatures and remove them from the battlefield. We're just did 9s, we're on 8s. All right, 8 of hearts. Send in Nigel with a sword and finish off the Oolongs. Oh, okay. Pouring some fire from the breath. Okay. So the Marines are going to take the house. While they're in there, they'll get heavy cover. Okay. That was 8. 7s. No 7s, 6s. I have a 6 of diamonds. Okay, your 6 of hearts goes first. Just leave it, it's fine. The 6 card allows a special reload action. If more 1s are rolled than hits, the unit is low on ammo. If the low on ammo is a generic term, it could actually mean erratic or rapid fire due to a breakdown in fire discipline, or literally the unit has been blasting away and needs ammo from the rear. Units that are low on ammo fire at half their allowed dice rounded up, and make sure you count any reductions from shock before, until they spend a turn reloading. This reload turn, the unit can not make any other actions. The use of the special 6 card, as we mentioned, however, instantly reloads the unit, and they may carry on as normal. Okay. Because they didn't move, they'll hit on 5s. Okay, so take those 5 dice and see what happens. All right, so 3 shocks. Is that what we got?
3 1s, 2 shocks.
Oh, 3 1s and 2 shocks. Okay. Well, that's not going to matter because if we remove 3 guys and we put 2 more shocks on them, they now have more shock than wounds, or remaining figures. So what they're going to do is immediately fall back, opponent, or double move. So they are going to retreat across the bridge. Once they came, I will remove the excess shock so they're now equal, and pull these dead. All right. That was nasty, but you know, I'm gonna take a chance. Okay, my 6. Let's. 6 card gives you a low on. Let's remove low on ammo. The way you get low on ammo is if you roll more 1s than hits, in which case hasn't happened yet. We are going to. I'm going to send the Krieg Hosen up, and it's going to fire its Gatling, mini Gatling, at the British forces. I move, so instead of a 5, I need 6s. And I got 8, 9, 10. So roll see what happens. I got 2 wounds and a shock. I'm gonna roll to see if any of those 2 wounds was the leader. It was not. So it's gonna pull 2 grunts back. Now they have a shock marker on. All right, that was my 6. You did your 6. So now we're on 5, which I have 1. Oh, you didn't do your 6? Go ahead. Yeah, you did. All right, now I'm gonna do my 5. Do you have a 5? I have 5 clubs. All right, your 5 of hearts first. Kaboom! 4 dice. And you are at short range, so you're not moving, so you get on 5.
3.
All right, well, let's see what those 3 things do.
Wound and 2 shots.
Wound and 2 shots. I'll roll for the wounds. I did not get either one, so no need to roll for the shock. Big crater where the impervious suit used to be.
I had 1.
Okay. No more 4s, 3s. Are you done with your cards?
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to move and attach my commander to them. And I'm going to try to fire on the British. Lead guy to lead guy. You're in range, but we're going to give you cover. So I need 9s to hit. But I am activating on a 2. So I can reroll misses. And I only got 1 hit, so I'm going to reroll these misses. And I got another hit. So I got 2 whole hits. One is a double hit and one is a shock. So I lost 2 guys and had a shock. It was not the leader. So it's later in the turn. The Lady Hussars have managed to attack the building with the Marines in it. Because their leader is attached, they take on his abilities, which in this case, he is a veteran. So they will be rolling D12s. And because the leader is attached, they get to re-roll any misses. Meanwhile, the French are defending, and they get to add a +1 to their dice for defending a fortified position. So I am looking for 4s because of the +1. I only got 1, 2, 3, but we have that reroll misses, so we're going to do that, thank God. And I am still throwing up some crap rolls. Okay, so I got a total of 7 hits. So you're rolling 10 dice, hitting on 4s, much better than me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 hits. All right, so I will do mine first, and I only get to take half of my possible wound dice because you were in a fortified position, rounded up. So I had a total of 7, so I'm going to take 4 and roll to see what happens. So that is a double hit, a shock, 3 shocks. Okay, So we know the French are gonna lose 2 guys and take 3 shocks. Now, you get to do your ugly stuff on me. I'm gonna put those next to the building for. Oh, I also need to check to see if the commander was hit, and he was not. Or the leader of that unit was hit, which he was not. Okay, you're taking your 9 dice. Nasty. So those are shocks. And that's a double hit, so that's 3 losses and a wound. So a total of 4 losses. So Marsh, would you roll a D10 and see if the leader of the unit was hit? 4 or below. The leader was hit, so I'm gonna pull her out. So that unit no longer gets the benefits of her abilities. All right, now roll it again and see 4 or below if it was my leader got hit. He was not, or my commander of my whole unit. All right, so I pulled my losses, and now I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shock. Now, you inflicted the most wounds in that fight, so I have to fall back from the attack. So I would actually go back a full move away. Right on 2, 4, 6, 7. Ow. If they take any more casualties or anything like that, they're going to be screwed. All right, so Sir Nigel has tried to take the objective by himself, but was attacked from behind by our German assassin. She is a veteran, so she gets to roll D12s, and as they are both heroes, they're rolling 3 dice each. And she has a poison blade, which we'll find out later. In return, and so she hits on 5s. Sir Nigel is a swordsman, so he hits on 4s. And he is lucky, so he can re-roll this whole throw of the dice if he wishes to. So she only got 2 hits. Nigel hit with all of his, so we're going to roll to see what happens here. She managed to get a shock and a wound on Nigel. However, he managed to put 2 wounds and 2 shocks on her. So that would mean that she would have more shocks than she had remaining wounds. So she would have to run away from the action. A double move. Time for some contraption on contraction action. So the Arachne has pulled a card and is not moving and is going to fire, so there's no minus for the shot. So he has a gun that shoots 4 dice, hitting on 5. Oof. 3 hits. So you're gonna roll those 3 hits and see what happens. And then I'll try to make an armor save. Ooh, we got a double hit, so 2, another one, 3, and a shock. So I am going to try to save those. My land monitor has a armor of 4+. It's extra heavy. So he is going to roll for the 3 wounds. He did not make any of them, so there's 3 of those. And this is for the shock. And he did make that, so no shock, but it now has 3 damage points on it. So 1 more and it would be destroyed. If you had got more shock than remaining damage, he of course would fall back, just like the troops do. If there's a case where there is more shock than wounds and the vehicle has less than half of its remaining points, like in this case, then the crew will actually abandon the vehicle and run. So we hope this quick playthrough of bigger battles gives you an idea of how the game is played, and we hope to be doing more of these more often with our other titles.